don't know what the weather is going to be like around here. I do get really anxious during storms.
That's why they chose HailGuard. When performance leads, confidence follows. Backed by the first and only asphalt shingle system with a hail warranty.
That just gives us more peace of mind.
This is the only asphalt product on the market that has the manufacturer warranty targeting the hail damage, and it gives me a lot of confidence as a contractor.
Engineered for enhanced impact performance. Built to protect homes and reputations. HailGuard shingles. Built for hail.
Hey the crew, I am Matt Meister. This is Peaks to Plains weather. It's been a long day. I tell you what, storm coverage on Peaks to Plains weather made possible by Tamco Building Products and their HailGuard shingles beyond Class 4. Let's start with what is new here. We have 2 severe thunderstorm warnings that have just been issued in the last 3 minutes while that countdown was going. One is for the Aspen Acres fire areas just to the east of the fire. There is a flash flood warning for areas in the fire. So we've got this severe thunderstorm warning kind of on the eastern flank here until 7:45. This storm capable of producing some wind gusts around 60 miles per hour. So is the new severe thunderstorm warning a little bit farther to the east. This is off to the east of I-25, also some 60-mile-an-hour wind. And a flash flood warning for eastern parts of the Aspen Acres fire again. This is until 10 o'clock tonight. We have had another day of some vehicle rescues, some flash flooding. The Beulah Historical Society dealt with some of that, some debris over some of the roads in the area, some ash flows. And this current storm is producing rain at a rate of 1 to 2 inches per hour. It may end up putting down a little bit more than an inch by the time it's all said and done. But look at right now, this is kind of on the very eastern edges of the fire. And if you see where this storm has moved here, it is formed as the outflow that have been tracking for about 3 hours now has moved into the area. If you've seen a couple of my severe storm updates, we talked about this about 90 minutes ago, that we'd have to keep an eye on this down here. I will tell you that with where the storm formed, I do think that flash flood threats in the burn are currently minimal. But you see this new updraft that's going there? We're going to have to watch that one really, really close. So we'll keep an eye on that. 2 severe thunderstorm warnings to the south of Pueblo in Pueblo County. I want to take you out across the far eastern plains where we still have a severe thunderstorm rolling that is rolling here through Kiowa County. Also northern Bent, northwestern Prowers. This does not include Lamar, but this storm is getting closer and closer. This severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until 7:45 p.m. The issue with this storm is the wind out on the leading edge of it. We've got just outflow that this thing is riding. But I want to show you something in Eads. Let me see if I can pull up. Hold on there. There we go. All right. So I want to show you something in Eads here. I mean, we've got some rain there. That's not torrential by any stretch. Let's see some of the other cameras that we have out in this area. Cameras bouncing around a little bit in Stratton, which is, of course, way to the north of this camera. But I have a program that grabs the 4 nearest CDOT cameras that are looking in the direction of the storm. And so when they're not close, you know, because there's not as many cameras out over the plains, obviously, as there are in the metro areas and some of the mountain roads. But you can see it's pretty dark there in first view. So, you know, we're watching this line. It's been rolling to the east. Let me grab, we're missing a little bit of radar coverage here with these things. I was going to pull up Goodland. There we go. Yeah, none of these things are seeing the storms. Amazing. Pueblo radar is still the best one. And when I'm looking at the quality of the data here, but we're looking high up into the storm, and we're, sort of pattern forecasting. That's what my friends at the Weather Service are doing here. We've also been keeping an eye on actual reports coming in. So, the damaging wind threat may be dropping a little bit here, but see how it still has a bit of a bow and some broken sort of cells that are kind of intense along that little broken line there. That's the reason we've still got that severe thunderstorm warning, because that pattern does say wind. Parts of the Pikes Peak region still getting a little bit of rain this evening. Kind of nice to see that. Storms have kind of weakened a little bit from where they were earlier. So this is kind of our situation ongoing. We have both of these severe thunderstorms. In fact, all three of the warnings are kind of on the edges of the outflow, which is from storms that formed earlier today up on the Palmer Divide. And we've been seeing this pattern for the last few days. You want to come on, talk about it? Put vmix.at/zmSjK, S and K capitalized, into the browser on your phone or tablet. And you can put vmix.at/1rjsl1 into the browser on a tablet or your phone, and you can come on as well. Also taking your social media comments here late on this Sunday. Anne's checking in. She says, good evening. Just have a great night. Can't stay online with you tonight, but wanted to see what we're seeing here. And thanks so much, Annie, for sending me the stuff that you have sent today. I appreciate that. I'm working on kind of getting that into the system here. So as we move through the next couple of hours, here's what's going to happen. The outflow is going to keep moving south along the higher terrain here, south of Pueblo. And it's just a heads up that in Huerfano County, you might get some new storms to develop. And these storms here that are forming along it, as they move off to the northeast, they should weaken here, or they're going to kind of roll more east, I guess. Actually, sorry, I misspoke. It's been a long day. They'll roll off to the east. But as the boundary gets farther and farther away, they should weaken. So there should be a definite sort of life cycle to these storms, if you will. But for those of you in the vicinity of the Aspen Acres fire, we have a flash flood warning. It is our second round of these today. The first one certainly caused impacts, and the heaviest rain right now is kind of running on the eastern edge of the fire. But you can see just to the east of San Isabel that we have some moderate rain that's falling on the St. Charles River. And so we'll keep an eye on that. That's much lighter rain than that pink that you see. The difference there is like 1.5 to 2 inches per hour versus a 1/2 inch per hour. So there's a big time difference there in what's happening just to the east of the fire. But we'll keep an eye on Little St. Charles Creek, the St. Charles River, Willis Creek, all flowing into the St. Charles River. That, then kind of rolls off to the east toward the Arkansas River. So we'll keep an eye on that. That flash flood warning does last for a while, by the way. It's up until 10 o'clock tonight. So we'll keep an eye on that. Some of the other drainages in there, the Scroggs Arroyo, Spring Branch we were looking at. Keep in mind, we've seen lots of stuff come down. It's been a mix of rocks, trees, mud, parts of bushes and stuff. All kinds of loose material coming down, and that's because of the fire that we've had in the area. I think the likelihood of seeing large hail with both of these cells is pretty low here. I would say, at best, if somebody got a 1-inch diameter hailstone, you're doing pretty dang good. Let's analyze why I say that. Yeah, these storms do not have the elevated hail cores that we had earlier in the day. So I'd be shocked, actually, looking at that now, to tell you that those would get inch diameter hail. Severe Thunderstorm Watch is still up until 9 o'clock this evening. That's another hour and a half. And it's really for these areas here, kind of right on this outflow, which is driving our weather at this point. So storms have rolled through Eads. The heaviest rain's been to the north and south of town there on Highway 96. Kind of split the difference, right? Split the uprights. Like those of you in Eads are like, you can't, wait, what? Sheridan Lake, this is moving toward you. Wiley, Lamar, everybody on Highway 385 out here. This is going to hang together enough that this wind is going to move into your area. La Junta, we're getting some pretty good rain now. The outflow's gone through. You can see the blue line go to the south here. That's the outflow. It's like a mini cold front. It lifts some air that hasn't turned into thunderstorms yet, and you get some in Swink and La Junta. So you're catching some rain. So that's some good news. Let's see here. 7:23. Lots of folks getting home here on a Sunday evening. This is kind of on the eastern edges of the fire. I'm going to wait for 2 more radar scans here with that thing that is off to the southwest of Beulah and to the east of San Isabel. It's off to the north of Highway 165 between Rye there and Colorado City. I mean, you know, like that's east of the fire. It's not going to cause too much in the way of issues. And if we look at over the last hour, pull that up here because right now we're looking at 24-hour. That's not what we want. So right on St. Charles Creek there, you know, we've had some relatively heavy rain, but that's sort of right on the edges kind of the fire. See the outflow heading to the south of this area as well. It's going to keep rolling to the south through the evening. Heading past Colorado City now into Huerfano County. So like we've seen some new development, you know, kind of along this thing here as it keeps moving south. Heads up in Huerfano County. Early heads up Los Animas County. You may get some additional storms. So that's the situation. In Kissing Camels this afternoon, we've seen a couple rounds of some rain. We've had some light rain. We've heard some thunder. And you can see on top of Pikes Peak there. You know, I got a report earlier today. We did have some hail on the backside of Pikes Peak. And so I just assumed that this was hail up there. But then I talked to the GM of the COG, and he said that a little bit higher than where the hail was on Highway 67, that they actually had snow up there. So that is some snow up on America's Mountain. So how about them apples? Or how about that snow? Okay, Maggie Ray is checking in. She says lots of weather, an inch south of Rush earlier, but they've almost got some blue skies now. David said, did get some good straight rain down in Eads. David, let me know how windy it was. My hunch is that maybe we're losing a little bit of oomph with that thing out there. Have had steady rain for an hour in Cimarron Hills, says Jeremy. And Maggie says, Eads is on a brown square of the Prairie Plaid. Yeah, it's been dry out there. Barb asks if the storm by Cripple Creek is going to get to Fountain again. You know, I don't think so, Barb. These things have been certainly in the Pikes Peak region. I mean, it's been raining long enough now that there's, you know, they're not going to really maintain their oomph. And you can see that over the last 30 minutes, you know, because this is a loop of the last hour, and Cripple Creek's had a couple rounds over the last few days. We are seeing a weakening there, and the track of that would be to the south of the main Fountain area anyways. But we are getting a little bit of rain in there, and we'll certainly take that. Okay, keep an eye on... Yeah, that thing isn't going to intensify too much, I don't think. On the western edge of the flash flood warning, just to the east of San Isabel, is watching that core there is what I kind of wanted to keep my eye on. We'll wait for one more radar frame. Then I'll probably check out here. Maggie says they are glad for all the water out in Eads. I just don't see... And there's... It's hard to poo-poo this when you're looking up into the storm a decent way. And kind of on the leading edge of this, we do have, in the vicinity of these cores here, a little bit of sort of turbulent motion as we are getting some inflow kind of coming up over what might be a shelf cloud out there. So again, to wrap up, this warning for Wiley, this is Northern Bent, Northern Prowers, and Kiowa County until 7:45 p.m. It is another 15 minutes. If that gets extended, it is still going to be for wind gusts. And so Lamar, you would probably be included in that. Grenada, you would be included in that. Sheridan Lake, you would be included in that. But it looks like it's losing a little bit of oomph to me. I'm not concerned about these storms in the Pikes Peak region being severe. And this storm, in terms of the Aspen Acres fire, you know, the heaviest rain is outside of the fire at this point, and I'm not overly concerned about hail down in this area. So just heads up, eastern, southern sections of the fire, there is some rain overhead. I'll keep a close eye on it. If I need to pop back on, I will. But I'm not as concerned as I was earlier today when we had those cells overhead that did produce the flash flooding. If you've missed it, here's what the storms did earlier today. So this is Game Gulch at Highway 78, kind of on the southwest side of Beulah Valley. So it's at 135, then at 140, you can see that the water's rolling on it. 5 minutes later, it's gotten quite a bit higher. Then we're running over the road at 150, and about 15 minutes later, the water receded. And that's how you get these waves of water rolling down the hills. And so, you know, it's a lot like when a wave comes onto the ocean. If you're somebody that has experienced this flash flooding, you know there's a little bit of a buildup over about 30 seconds to a minute, and then it's rolling. That happens for whether it's 5, 10 minutes, and then there's, you know, it pulls back a little bit. But when that wave is cresting through the area, it is certainly impactful. I saw some video from a couple of people, and one of them was trying to hook up with them to maybe do an interview. I want to see if they are interested in that, but we'll keep working on it here. I haven't heard back from them as of yet. Let me switch this back to the right account here. All right, reminder for you that you can send pictures, video to Peaks to Plains Weather, our weather together in the Peaks to Plains Weather app. In the bottom right-hand corner, you link it up to your email, and you can do that. And, you know, we always appreciate you doing that. You can always come on with us as well. Your social media comments, I share those frequently. You can come on here and give a report as well. And I like to remind folks, put these in your phone as a contact so that when something's happening fast and you see something and you're maybe a little bit excited and, you know, heart starts going a little bit faster, you've already done this. And so then you can just click it and come on the show here. Barb was telling us she did that earlier and how easy it was. David said the wind was fairly strong before the rain. And that's the outflow out ahead of it. Got about half an inch. Going to his backup pan because the wind took his rain gauge somewhere. Life on the plains, bro. Life on the plains. That's funny. All right. I think I'm going to call this one here. Let's do one last thing. Let's do a slice back through this line. And you can see we've got, yeah, that thing's losing oomph. All right, crew. If I was going to bet, or if I was running the radar scope at the Weather Service, sitting at what they call the warning desk, I don't think that I would issue a new warning out east of the existing warning. Not to say that someone is wrong if they choose to do that. And then these cells here are going to start to weaken over the next little bit. So the people under these things know them. They're not moving all that fast. The flash flood warning continues for the mainly eastern end of the Aspen Acres fire until 10 o'clock tonight. These severe thunderstorm warnings go until 7:45. The one to the southeast of Pueblo goes until 8 o'clock. I'll keep an eye on things. If there is a reason to pop back on, I will. But everybody's kind of getting in their home now, getting ready for the week here. And so I think the point of doing this at this point, because if anything, we're seeing gradual improvement in conditions instead of deteriorating conditions. Tells me that I should probably be done for the night. And Quinetta says, thanks for bringing us the weather updates today. I did go to church this morning, but there was no Sabbath happening for me today for sure. It was work all day long. And that's how it goes. That speaks to Plains weather, man. That's the phase that we are in. Things will change when Mary comes back from her baby. Rachel's kids start school this week here. And she's going to be able to help out a little bit more. I do have a surprise coming. We are going to have another Peaks to Plains member joining us here over the next month, say 2 weeks to a month. So we'll watch that. My friends, I greatly appreciate you. And I would appreciate you telling people about Peaks to Plains weather. It really would mean a lot. Tell them we're on Roku. Tell them we're on Fire TV. If you want to watch TV, that same streaming channel is in the app, right on the homepage below our latest updates. It's also on YouTube, streaming 24 hours a day. It's on our website. I think I already said that. And when we're live, we push that channel to social media. So that's what those of you on Facebook, on Instagram are seeing right now. Barb wants a hint. I think you know the person, Barb. Is that enough of a hint? It'll have to work. David says, go get some much needed sleep. Yes, I need to check in with the kids. I got to do some packing. Nathan and I heading out on Tuesday. I've got the Starlink all ready to go. I'll be working from the road. I'll have to take some driving shifts, but we're going to stop and spend the night at my cousin's place outside of St. Louis. Then we'll make a drive to Indiana, where they've had some horrific flooding over the last week or so. Just some 1 in 1,000-year type flooding. And some of that's impacted the town where my son's school is. Most of it a little bit farther south of there. He does know some people that's been impacted by that. Hawaii and the hurricane, historical thing there, more than 30 inches of rain in some cases, snow up on top of the volcanoes. Kind of some wild times here. Let's do the forecast for tomorrow. I know some of you have seen this today, but we'll do it one more time. And I'm going to do it regarding storms. So we are going to get a little bit of a quieter day tomorrow because some drier air comes in from the west. We'll still have enough surface moisture east of the mountains that we'll get a few storms. Not as many as the last 4 days. Some will still produce heavy rain. Most of them will be to the south of Highway 50, kind of on the northern slopes of the Raton Mesa, and Pikes Peak may fire up a storm late in the day. You get under one, heavy rain possible, and again, I think they'll kind of drift off to the southeast tomorrow. Threat for severe weather much, much lower than we have had out there today. I will end with this. Here is a look at the storm reports that we have had so far on this Sunday. And we'll start with the flash flooding in Beulah Valley here. Again, we have had some people that have needed rescued. There's been debris flowing through the area. That's the second day in a row of that. And I think 3 of 4 days we've had some issues down there. And then in northeast El Paso County, I wasn't even showing you guys that. See, I'm getting tired now. All right, let me come back down here. I need like a little... like if I don't have up what I think, like I get shocked. Make me pay more attention. That's what I say anyways. Okay, so there was a water rescue, southwest side of Beulah, kind of where I showed you that camera from, and some propane tanks, again, debris flows flowing through that. Wind gusts between 58 and 65 miles per hour over northeast El Paso County into southern Elbert County. This is also a new one. The flash flood here. Some video on social media. So that's this video right here. So that's from our storm chaser, Matt Manello there. He was out and about earlier today. And another severe report that is in the system is from our storm chaser, Joseph Velasquez, who was out. Highway 94, kind of off to the south of Hugo. So this is in Lincoln County. He was out catching that, and I'll show you that severe weather report. 1.5 inch hail is the biggest hail report of the day. You can see here off to the east of Pumpkin Center. Here's Joe's report of 1.5 inch hail. And then he actually texted me a little bit ago. Let me make sure this is something I don't want to show you. He's got some video I'll post on social media there. So thank you, Joe. Thank you, Matt, for being out there today. Those guys are always out and about. That storm southwest of Pueblo still producing some decent rain. Severe weather threat is sort of low end with both of these things at this point. And, you know, it's still rolling eastward. It's still going to pick up the wind. Gusts over 40 for sure. My hunch is most of it stays below 60 miles per hour. And then just to the south of Pueblo, severe thunderstorm warnings. The east one is starting to collapse. And we're getting, gosh, did those split north of Colorado City? They may have. Interesting. So let's check out the Colorado City cam here on the interstate. In fact, let me do, all right. Check out a couple of things. Pull some cameras up here. All right, Colorado City. Missing the rain. Wild. Looks like you're getting rain. Let's zoom in a little bit more because you're not as of now. Fascinating. Okay. New severe thunderstorm warning for the southern split there. Again, this is for some borderline stuff here. So this is maybe some wind gusts around 60. And for the next 5 to 8 minutes, the potential kind of right on I-25 here of some hail around 1 inch in diameter. So that's bad luck, I guess, for the travelers in that area. Hopefully, you know, they have a little navigator with them that's like, let's not drive into that. And if it's big and dark, like, slow down. Stop at a gas station. Okay. That's it, my friends. I'm going to call it here. I'll still keep an eye on things, but that new severe thunderstorm warning was in effect until 8:30 for the Colorado City area storm, kind of going up right on top of you. Again, most of the hail is probably going to be below 1 inch in diameter. Most of the wind is going to be below 60 miles per hour, but it's close on the threshold. So the easiest thing to do, stay indoors away from windows until the storm passes. Storm coverage on Peaks to Plains Weather made possible by Tamco Building Products and their Hail Guard shingles beyond Class 4. We did have a couple areas with some hail today, and I feel like I've been pelted with hail. That's it for me, crew. Have a good night. This is Peaks to Plains Weather. This is our weather together.
Hey, this is John May, General Manager of Petrale Roofing, up on another customer's roof doing a free 21-point inspection. If you'd like us to take a look at your roof, give us a call today, 719-375-8773. We'd be happy to take a look and see the condition of your roof. Petrale Roofing, we're a Diamond certified Tamco installer, which means we can offer a industry-leading 25-year workmanship warranty to give you peace of mind in the storm. Call Petrale Roofing, 719-375-8773. Schedule your free inspection today.
Love your yard with a new outdoor space from F&B Landscaping. From a new build to a new project in an existing yard, we listen and give you the yard you want within your budget. Lawns, water features, xeriscaping. We've got the artistic touch and technical know-how to bring the peak of Colorado outdoor living to your home. Reliable, trustworthy. Visit fblandscapes.com to schedule a free consultation today.
Emergencies are unpredictable, but you don't have to be unprepared. Peak Alerts sends you targeted emergency alerts in real time for evacuation orders, law enforcement activity, missing persons, and more. Choose up to 5 locations that matter to you, like home, work, and school, so you know what's going on and what to do next. It's free, easy to set up, and designed to keep you in control. Know first, act fast. That's the power of Peak Alerts.